can understand you or hear you. So today we have Amana Beagle, well known in this area of Amana Beagle Studio, voice coach, and beautiful voice of the area. And she is going to share some things with us on how we could use our voice.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Hey, folks, I'm delighted to be here. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to share my perspective on voice training with you and hopefully just heighten your awareness about your own voice today and get you to think about your voice in a way that you've never thought about it before. So I train mostly singers, but just to give you a little bit of background, I created a course called Be Heard, Vocal Skills for Real Life for people such as yourself, public speakers. I consider everyone a public speaker because we might be leading a meeting or presenting at a club like this, speaking in our church, doing something at work that makes us have to speak in a public way. Every person that you meet throughout the day, you're interacting and you're using your voice. We are all intense voice users, whether we realize it or not. So I actually had an injury. I fell on my stairs onto my tailbone and I herniated 3 discs and I fractured L3, and I powered through and still taught 40 voice lessons a week. I was preparing for Christmas concerts, preparing all of my students for concerts, and I actually, in the course of being treated for the back injury, developed a voice disorder called muscle tension dysphonia. And that is basically characterized by tension developing in the muscles surrounding the larynx, and it keeps the larynx very tight. It doesn't damage the vocal folds, which was a blessing, but it was a tension disorder because I was so emotionally distraught and in such pain from the back injury that then my clarity, the clarity that you hear in my speaking voice today was not there. I was losing my high notes. So squeaking out my high B flat, no holy night at Christmas, and saying a prayer that it would be there. I could only sing for 15 minutes. It was really, really stressful. So I went to an otolaryngologist, and he did a scope and he looked at my vocal folds, assured me that nothing was wrong with them, but diagnosed me with MTD, muscle tension dysphonia. And the way that you treat that is to see a speech-language pathologist. And they also set me up with a neck physical therapist because I was so tight that I could barely move. So we worked through a lot of these things, and the final pieces came together with my vocal coaches, but it was a very long process. And it's interesting how when these things happen to you, and as you can imagine, something happening to my voice is a big deal because it's my life, it's my livelihood, it's my identity. So something happening to my voice was very emotional for me. So what I was going to say was that when these things happen to us, and all of us have these hardships that come up in our lives, the universe, however you want to think of it, sends us people who need us. And I started getting calls from people who didn't want singing lessons, but wanted to improve their voices. Something's wrong. I'm reading storybooks to my preschool class and I can't get through it. You know, I'm a faith leader and I'm singing and I'm getting hoarse, or whatever the case may be. And I thought, okay, well there's really something here and there's a need that hopefully I can fulfill. So the handout that I gave you today gives you a voice observation challenge. So this is your challenge over the course of the next week, and really, hopefully, it will help you to build awareness around your speaking habits and get you to think about your voice in a new way. So I want you to observe yourself in different real-life situations. For example, a casual conversation, stressful or high-stakes interactions, and loud environments. So for example, I have a friend who works in a very male-dominated field. She's of course a female, very capable, brilliant woman. woman, she said, when I get into group meetings with all of my male colleagues, my voice goes up here. And I don't know why, and I can't get it down, she's telling me. And so that's a great example of where she might be speaking kind of here throughout her normal life, but just in that one kind of setting, something happens, and it changes, and we don't know why, and we have to be able to control it and to get things back to where we need it to be. So, I want to go through some of these questions with you because even though you haven't done this exercise, it might spark something that you'd like to share with the group. So, when you're in these situations, how much effort is it taking you to speak? And where do you feel the effort living in your body when you speak? Do you feel it in your throat? Do you feel it in your jaw? Do you feel it in your belly? Are you breathing, or are you a breath holder? So sometimes when I get nervous, I hold my breath. Maybe you're like that. So everybody take in a deep breath and blow it out. We need to become aware of our breathing patterns. Does your voice change depending on the context, like my friend? Speaking gently to a child, having a customer service voice, or having to control a large group of students. Does your volume change in different situations, louder or softer? And does your voice really reflect how you want to come across? You want to ask yourself all these questions. And then you can complete these sentences for me. When I need to be heard, I usually blank. When I'm nervous, my voice tends to. People often ask me to repeat myself when. My voice feels most natural when. I avoid speaking up when. I wish my voice could do blank. I've always believed my voice is never. And the role my voice currently plays in my life is blank. So some of us might really like how we sound. Some of us might not like how we sound. We have also acquired beliefs about our voices that we inherited from our families and our parents. So if you were a young child who was often told to be quiet, or you're annoying, or you're being too loud, even if that's not something that weighs on you as an adult, it's still there. So these are just beliefs that we have to meet face to face and try to overcome sometimes because they're in our body somehow. So given those questions and those situational questions, is there anyone that thought of anything that they might like to share with the group about your perception of your own voice in one of these three: casual conversation, a stressful or high-stakes interaction, a loud environment, something that happens to your voice that you've noticed? Yes.
So I work from home, and I'm doing virtual meetings, and sometimes when I'm on with my team, my husband says I talk too loud. I also wonder in meetings, because of the sound quality, if people can hear me. So am I speaking too low? Am I speaking too loud?
Do you ever record yourself?
I have not.
Okay, so that would be my suggestion if people will let you record a meeting. And do you use an external microphone?
No.
So that could be something you could look into too. It's just a high quality external mic so that you know that your voice is being, you could speak just like this and it would pick you up. But yes, thank you.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Anybody else? Yes?
Yes. I'd like to say sometimes you get older, I mean, you get up right now. When you talk sometimes, people that are talking to people that are hard of hearing, it's not the same voice they hear.
Right.
You are presenting.
Mm-hmm.
And people don't realize that a lot of people are hard of hearing.
Yeah?
I even went to a hearing doctor, hearing aid, And he had to go and take a course in speaking to people that are hard of hearing. It was different than normal people. But, you know, if you pick up a telephone and you go, yeah, I'm sorry, I don't understand.
Yeah.
I'm hard of hearing. Oh, okay, and it's different.
Right.
And you can hear. So, but there's as our civilization gets older, and then they're advancing, they're getting more and more years in their lives, this is happening more and more.
Yeah.
Television, they speak too fast on television, you have to read it. You know, all
Sure.
those things are happening.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just such a wonderful thing to be conscious of, too, when we're just interacting in the world. We can slow down, we can speak a little louder, we can understand that the pauses in between our words, they feel like an eternity to us, but they just help our audience comprehend and absorb the information. So if one of your critiques is that you speak too fast, you know, then we slow down and people can absorb. Because we can only take in so much information anyway, we know that. You know, it's just the nature of learning. So yes.
This is something I would like to work on. When I'm in an unfamiliar setting and I have to speak, sometimes I can feel my voice shaking. And I'm like, oh my God. I felt as though I had like moved beyond that. But it's like 2 weeks ago, we were at a workshop at my job, and it was a lot of people, and then the speaker had people go around and introduce themselves. I'm like, I hate
this.
introduce themselves. What department are you in? How long have you been here? Blah, blah, blah. And she want people, and I remember when it came my turn, I felt my voice shake a little bit, and I'm like, oh, Sierra, you did it again.
Yeah, and this is a great segue, what you're saying, because what we're going to do physically together today as an exercise, I believe will help with this. So what we're talking about, come on in.
We're in the wrong place.
Okay. What we're really talking about is regulating our nervous system. So much of vocal training is self-care. I believe that wholeheartedly, that when we care for our voices, we care for our whole body. Because if something is wrong in our body, it will show up in our voice, just like it did with me, with my back, you know. But a big part of my problem was that I was in a constant state of threat. You know, I'm not saying that you're fully there, but, you know, even just some of that gets us a little shaky on our feet. It makes our voice unstable, and we can't connect to our breath. So if you look at the other side of your handout, I've given you kind of a breakdown of what I work with speakers. A lot of it overlaps with singers, actually. We're not going to get through all this today. This is an ongoing study that takes a lot of time. But we're talking about a 5-point system. Alignment and anchoring. Alignment is how our body is stacked. So it's that song when we were kids. Head, shoulders, knees and toes, right? So how is your head stacked on top of your neck, on top of your shoulders, your ribs, to your hips, to your knees, your ankles, and your feet? Everybody's body is different, so optimal alignment will be different for everyone. But finding that and exploring that can be the game changer that you need. Just that one thing, alignment. Because if you're not a person who is a professional mover, it might be something that has gone and fallen by the wayside a little bit, you know. So we're going to explore that today, and the second piece of that is called anchoring. So anchoring is a method of creating stability in the body to help stabilize your voice. So we can't be a wet noodle. We can't have this. A lot of people are internally rotated, and a lot of that has to do with our devices, because we become what we repeatedly do. So if you are on a computer all the time, if you are texting a lot, or just kind of stressed, we internally rotate. So everybody do that with me. just like internally rotate. We're in this position of don't look at me, don't talk to me. And we need to open that up. So let's just open up the arms and the shoulders. This way. Yeah, right. So we need to find ways to be open to the world, let our hearts shine. But anchoring we'll get into today. The next piece is airflow and breathing. So if you can get alignment, anchoring, airflow, and breathing from me today, I'd be really happy, just like a taste of that. Because those are things I think you can take away and work on. So why don't we, it'd be nice if you could find some space. We can stay seated, but if you'd like to pull your chair around, or somewhere where you can reach your arms out and not touch someone, back your chair up. There's room over here if anybody wants to come on this side. All right, awesome. So, I'm going to talk about this alignment piece here. Okay, so I'm going to come to the edge of my chair and start to get in tune with my spine. If anything that I do today is not comfortable for you, please don't feel like you have to do it. So I'm going to leverage myself here on my knees with my hands, and I'm going to imagine that there's a string attached here to my sternum. And I'm going to allow the string to pull me towards the front wall. And I arch my back just a little bit. And then it's going to come through me and pull me through to the back wall. So here I am, just inhaling up and exhaling back. Inhaling up and exhaling back. So keep doing that as I talk. Many people get very locked in their thoracic spine, which is the area between your shoulder blades. We get very locked, and all areas of our